So there's all these Bible verses about God covering humans, putting a covering over us so we can't see the work of God. There's those verses, all those verses in Isaiah. The Lord will remove the covering that's over all nations so everyone can praise the Lord. You know, there's all these verses all over the place saying this. I know they're not, a lot of people haven't heard them before because they're just simply ignored in churches. The churches ignore the 1/3 of the Bible about the eschaton, the end times. So obviously it's not a real familiar topic to church folk. But anyway, it's in the Bible and it's extremely important. Anyway, so why would God do this? This is a huge topic, massive topic. It has to do with simulation theory and quantum physics. A lot of different things tie into this. But an inmate was asking me, so why would God not just let us see the truth? Why would he cover this up and make us blinded and have a covering so we can't see accurately that he has to uncover later? And I thought that was a great question. I said to myself, I think I have a possible answer. I said to him, it all has to do with, again, John 15:13. Sorry, John 15:13. The greatest love is when you sacrifice yourself for your friend. Here's what I said to him. I said, God can't let us see accurately now. So that's what we're looking at. So apparently he removes the covering. That's a big deal with our salvation. Something to do with our afterlife existence is this covering is gone from us. So the covering is there now. So that's our pre-eschaton state, and our eschaton, our afterlife state, we won't have the covering. So it has to do with what we're seeing, and we're blinded from seeing, or something like that. Something like that. Whatever the covering means. Anyway, I said to him, I said, if we didn't have the covering, we would be seeing God as he is now. We would have, I think we'd all have salvation, or we'd be seeing God as he is, or, you know, we'd be getting burned up, you know, whatever it is to be directly with God, like on, you know, at the eschaton is what would happen. I said, but that can't, here's the key. That can't happen yet because God has to save us by being a sacrifice. That's this big key that all the churches have missed, the theology that everybody's missed for 2,000 years. This answers so many issues why God didn't save us before time. I've done a video on that. And you know, other issues such as this one, why God has this covering over us, has to be removed. And again, if we saw him now, then he would not save us by infinite love. So let's go into that. So infinite love is sacrificing yourself for your friends. That's the highest love. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that's the infinite love, the love of you know what God is acting through, and God's infinite, so it's infinite love. John 15:13, the highest love, which I'm going and saying is the infinite love, sacrificing yourself for your friends. So God has to do that. He can't act in any other kind of love. Wouldn't think. So he has to save us by the maximal love. And so therefore he's got to be one of us. He's got to be if he's going to be a sacrifice, he's got to be one of us so he can sacrifice himself for us. So he has to be a human, make himself a human. You know, the King James Bible says Jesus was made. We all know Jesus is just God, so he's always existed. But God made himself this, what we call the incarnation. The Word became flesh. So we can relate to him, be like him. The image is properly restored, the imago Dei. If we didn't have this covering over us, and we saw God right like he is, God would not be able to save. We'd already have salvation by knowing him. We'd have this interaction with him. So it would not give God a chance to be a sacrifice. Sorry, there's a train going by. Would not give God, he would not save us by being this infinite sacrifice, and he would not save us by the infinite love, and he would not save us by the greatest love, and he would not be acting godly. He would be saving us by a different means than the infinite godly love. So he has to put a covering over us and make us not know who we really are, and he's got to make us disobedient, like it says in Romans 11:32. On and on and on. So it just all makes sense. God has to have this covering over us so we can not know the work of God from beginning to end, Ecclesiastes 3:11. So he can therefore come and be a sacrifice and save us by infinite love. You might have to go through this video again and put all the verses together, but it all fits perfect. this theology is of an infinite mind, the mind of God, the Creator, Christ, who created us all. And this is the perfect logic. This is the perfect logic. And anyways, thanks.